Welcome back to the channel. This week is a big one. The Renters' Rights Act is officially kicking in, and things are moving quickly. At the same time, the government is now urging landlords to stop issuing Section 21 notices. That alone raises some serious questions. To me, it suggests they know something is coming, likely a surge of last-minute Section 21 notices being served before the deadline later this week. In today's video, we'll break down what's been discussed in Parliament, who's been raising concerns, and why there's growing pressure on landlords not to remove tenants using Section 21. There's a lot to cover, so stay with me. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder. This is a fast-moving situation. Updates are coming in constantly around the Renters' Rights Act, and if you want to stay informed as things develop, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. Join the growing community here for the latest on house prices, interest rates, and property investing insights. And if you find this useful, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps push this information out to more people. Now let's get into it. Over the past week, questions have been raised in Parliament, and the messaging coming from the government is quite interesting. They're essentially saying landlords don't need to issue Section 21 notices. But that statement feels a bit questionable. It makes you wonder whether they're aware of a much bigger issue, a wave of evictions already in motion that hasn't fully hit yet. Some local councils are being upfront about what's happening, others not so much. Take Bristol, for example. Officials there are claiming there's no real increase in Section 21 notices and no major issue. But from what I've personally seen, that doesn't quite add up. I was there recently, and within a short walk, I saw dozens of people living in motorhomes. That clearly points to a housing and affordability problem. On the other hand, places like Liverpool, Sheffield, and Brighton have been more transparent. They've openly said they need more rental properties. Brighton, in particular, has even requested emergency funding due to the rising number of people needing temporary accommodation, largely driven by Section 21 notices. So there is definitely pressure building. And here's the key point. Many tenants who've already received Section 21 notices still have time left in their properties, often around 2 months. That means the real impact hasn't fully hit yet. As we move into May and June, local councils could face a much bigger crisis as those notices turn into actual evictions. What's surprising is that much of this could have been anticipated. The government has admitted more than once that a full impact assessment of the Renters' Rights Act wasn't properly carried out. Considering this is major legislation affecting millions, that's a significant oversight. So what exactly was said in Parliament? A Conservative peer, Lord Jameson, raised a question about whether the government had assessed the risk of landlords rushing to evict tenants before the ban on no-fault evictions comes into effect. He also asked what steps are being taken to address that situation. Now, the wording was, as usual, quite complicated, but the core question was simple. What's being done about the spike in Section 21 notices? The response came from Baroness Stowell. She stated that landlords shouldn't be evicting tenants ahead of the new rules and suggested that the number of Section 21 notices is actually decreasing as the ban approaches. That might technically be true, but context matters. It's very possible that most landlords already issued notices earlier, at the end of last month or the beginning of this one. So naturally, the numbers might appear lower now, but that doesn't mean the problem has gone away. In reality, there are still a huge number of Section 21 notices already in the system, working their way through. And it's possible that even local councils haven't fully grasped the scale of what's about to hit them. The government also emphasized that landlords don't need to evict tenants before the ban, and that tenants deserve more security. But the situation isn't that straightforward. Many landlords weren't actively looking to remove tenants. They're reacting to policy changes. The Renters' Rights Act has introduced a hard deadline, and that's forced decisions. In fact, Section 21 has sometimes worked in tenants' favor. For example, if a tenant falls into arrears, a landlord might choose a Section 21 route because it's quicker and less complicated than pursuing a Section 8 claim, which can take much longer, sometimes up to a year. In those cases, landlords often chose to move on, rather than chase unpaid rent through a lengthy process that may not result in meaningful recovery. That could mean the tenant leaves without long-term financial consequences, effectively starting fresh elsewhere. Now, with these changes coming in, landlords are reviewing their portfolios more carefully. If someone owns multiple properties and has tenants who've been difficult, late payments, minor damage, ongoing issues, those tenants are more likely to be served notice now. And these are exactly the individuals who may struggle the most when it comes to finding alternative housing, especially with councils already under pressure. So while the government is saying landlords shouldn't be issuing Section 21 notices, the broader picture tells a different story. Years of policy changes, not just this act, have made the market increasingly challenging for landlords. From tax changes like Section 24 to EPC requirements, to rising interest rates, to changes in tenancy structures, it all adds up. Many landlords are simply deciding it's no longer worth it. And that's why this situation feels a bit contradictory. On one hand, landlords are being discouraged from taking action. On the other, the environment has pushed many of them to that point. So what do you think about all of this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you found this helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out more content here for ongoing updates.